JSA issue 10, Jeff Lemire writing with Rafael De LaTorrere on the art. So Matt did not read JSA this time. I did because I think ultimately because like there's a hope, because it's an ongoing, because I care about the JSA and there's a hope this could and will get better. You know, I think I like some of what this issue does. It's cutting around a lot of the characters. I still think fundamentally the biggest problem with this book was how it chose to start, and that entire first like 5-6 issues just did not do it any favors for how how it set things up and whatnot. So the cliffhanger last time was that Kid Eternity, this new Kid Eternity in Hell, ran into the ghosts, if you want to call them that, of all the classic dead JSA members, and this issue kind of explains some of this. It's like, hey, you don't remember who you are, but you can visit any dead person that's ever existed, and you need to help the JSA. And she's kind of like, I want to remember who I am though. I have like these sort of weird flashes, and like you won't know who you are until you've fulfilled your destiny, and you might be the greatest Kid Eternity of them all. So that's being set up, and that kind of builds up towards the end where the two Hawks are looking for and then they have a bit of a debate if they even should go after, because Hawkman wants to just go and help the JSA, and Hawkgirl's like, no, this kid needs our help. She helped find you, so we're going to go help her. And they run into Gentleman Ghost and Grundy and the trio of demons. So they end up dealing with them, and the big thing at the end is that Kid Eternity is the one that shows up. And by the end of the issue, the ghosts of the JSA have given her all of their powers. Not that all of them have powers. I don't know if that means maybe she has Wildcat's fighting skills as well, but she's basically using Dr. Fate powers and when she comes to help the Hawks at the end of the issue. But yeah, everyone knows that Sorrow was pretending to be Todd. So they have a bit of a fight with Sorrow, but Sorrow gets away. It is what it is. And there's a bit of tension still between Our Man and Jesse. It's like, it's playing all the beats you expect it's been playing, right? The team of villains, all the ones that aren't with the Hawks anyway, are going to Black Hawk Island to find this secret Hawkman museum. Red Lantern drills in underneath so they can get to all the stuff. It's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, like, they get the Spear of Destiny, right? They're all excited about it, and some of the Kid Eternity stuff plays out at this point. Which, by the way, that stuff ends with because she says she saw the JSA or she saw Dr. Fate, and Kendra says, "Was it Khalid?" And then she's like, "No, I think he said his name was Kent Nelson." And Hawkman's face just is like, "What?"
Man,
I laughed at that panel. I thought his reaction to that was pretty funny. So yeah, small team of the JSA, Alan, Jay, Sand, and Jade go to the museum, and they all start feeling immense pain because the Injustice Society have got the spear, and they're saying bow down before us, and that's where the issue ends. It's funny because in some ways it is getting easier to read. And because it feels like a lot of the things are coming together a bit now, but at the same time, I don't really feel like I care that much about what's going on because they never did a good job of making me care in the first place. So I'm still kind of feeling a bit lukewarm to it. The nice thing I can say is that it is a very easy read still. Like I breezed through this relatively quite quickly, so that's something.
Do they get to spend a lot of time on Black Hawk Island, or do they just immediately find the museum? Like,
yeah, there's not a lot of build up. There's like a little fight that happens between Red Lantern and oh god, the snake one. That's not Copper.
Oh, Cobra.
Cobra, thank you.
Lady Cobra, probably.
We were talking about Copperhead in the last book, so my snake head was not my snake head. You know what? My head thinking about snake characters was messed up. Yeah. Anyway, there's not a lot of build up other than them having a little spat on the way to the location. It's kind of, again, like, I come back to it, but like I really wish this book would just decide on focusing on one plot line, or maybe one A plot and one B plot, and just sticking to it. And this one's not that far away from it, but there is kind of more than one because you've got the heroes, you've got the villains, you've got the stuff in hell, and even that's split in two because you've got like Kid Eternity separate from the Hawks. So there's like 4 groups of characters we're kind of jumping around. A lot of them do converge by the end, which is fair, but like, you know, I think if this issue was exactly the same as it was, but the rest of the book had been great up until this point, I don't think I'd really have a problem, because by this point everything would be so established you can jump around a bit more. But because this book has had that problem since issue 1, where it's been jumping around too many like characters and groups, and none of them getting enough time to really feel fleshed out, it's still sort of lingering in a way where, like, even though it's not as bad now, you know, it's kind of a victim of its build up of what it's been. Yeah, you know, it's fine. It's, you know, it's an okay issue. It's perfectly serviceable. You get to see some cool JSA villains. You know, Alchemy's in the team. You know, Sorrow's always been a cool villain. You know, Gentleman Ghost is a villain for an acquired taste. I don't know.
I just love the visual of Gentleman Ghost every time I see him, because he has that high collar and then the monocle.
Sure, yeah.
Like, it's just very silly and very Golden Agey. So
yeah, and you know, Lattorre's art is it's Lattorre. He's a solid artist. You know, that Hawkman reaction was pretty funny, and the art was what made it funny. I think it's consistent throughout. It's probably better than some of the art has been in the book. You know, the art has been not bad typically, but it's definitely had a bit of a house style feel to it. And not that this, like, Lattorre does feel a bit house style here. It feels different to when he did like that book with King. And it, you know, the coloring was a lot more moody. Whereas this is sort of like very just typical, like bright and vibrant, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it's just, I think it lends to his work looking a bit more house style than normal, but still very solid and high quality throughout. No real big complaints for me on the art, but at the same time, nothing wowed me either. So, you know, take that for what you will. As for rating, I'll say 6. That's 6.5. 6.5. Like, it's not quite. I'm still not going to quite call it good, but decent enough.